I know I'm a little late to the party making this video. A game happened yesterday, so let's review it right now. So Miami, in fact, dropped points. They ended up tying against LA Galaxy 1-1 due to Messi saving their ass, to put it simply. But let's go over the game, go over the player performances, see how well or how much worse Miami did this time around compared to the opening game and even against LA Galaxy, because last time they played LA Galaxy was back in their season opener in 2021 when Chicharito was still playing, and that didn't really end up too well. First away game of the season, still undefeated technically, so that's a plus. But yeah, when I mentioned that this was the second time Miami faced LA Galaxy, the first time they played, I actually went with my dad. Hopefully I could probably pull up a picture right here. But at the end of the day, Inter Miami didn't get the win. I think tonight they showed that they wanted to win the game, but was definitely not up to the level that they needed to be at. Compared to the opening game, it was like the exact opposite of what Miami did last night. In the opening game against Real Salt Lake, the first half was ours, and they were all over the opposition. Against the Galaxy, it was the other way around. They were pretty poor in that first half. The Galaxy were just a lot better. They were a lot faster. Puig is an absolute beast in that midfield, dictating that tempo with his teammates. Them being able to get down the wing and exposing pretty much our center backs, Christoph and even Aviles. However, Drake Callender did save a penalty though. That was lucky. He still had a great game. He made a lot of saves. Pretty important, probably man of the match, and I think he was labeled man of the match. LA did get on the board first around the 75th minute, and then a couple of questionable refereeing decisions later, Messi and Alba rekindled that fire from Barcelona and managed to equalize in the dying embers of the game, 90th plus minute, and managed to salvage a point for Inter Miami. Even though Miami did play pretty poorly, Harper Taylor was completely off, Suarez didn't do anything, I wasn't surprised about that. I was surprised that Taylor had an off game. I just think it was just not good enough. Going to LA, going to the West Coast, going to the Galaxy, and getting points there, it was always going to be difficult. And I think we were lucky to scrape away with a point here. But there is just so much more improvement that needs to be made in this squad. Like, I thought after that first game, we were going to be able to bounce. That's a motorcycle. I thought after that first game against Real Salt Lake, I thought we were going to be able to take that performance and make it better, or just literally just mirror it. If we were to mirror it, I think we would have been a lot better. But honestly, it wasn't good. I've said this in the previous video, but we can't solely rely on Messi to score the goals. We can't rely on Messi to save us in the 90th minute for every game, or for most games. Yes, he's the greatest player in the world. Yes, what he does is absolute magic, but Inter Miami are not going to have them for the summer. Once Copa America starts, he's gone for at least a month. And even before the summer, they're going to have games like in March. He's going to miss like maybe a game or two pretty early in the season. So Miami are going to have to figure out a way to not rely on Messi and create chances for themselves. Looking back on the stats here, it says we had 63% of the possession compared to LA Galaxy's 37%. It did not feel like that at all watching the game. Like, it literally felt like the reverse. Like, they had a 3.37 XG. They had 24 total shots, 9 on target, 5 big chances. That's just unbelievable. Apparently, we made 494 passes, accurate passes, compared to their 266. But we had a .63 expected goal ratio. We had 11 total shots, 5 on target, 1 big chance, and that, I'm assuming that 1 big chance was Messi. Yeah, I feel like those stats did not replicate in terms of possession. I didn't even realize we had that many shots, I'm going to be honest with you. But even then, most of those shots came in the second half anyway. In the first half, I think we had like 2 shots the entire half. We should have lost that game. And at the end of the day, we should have lost. All right, now let me jump to kind of individual player performances. It was the same lineup as last time, so I'm not really going to go one by one individually. I am going to call out those who have performed well against Real Salt Lake and have just completely didn't show up last night. In the defense, it's DeAndre Yedlin, Aviles, and maybe Kritsov. I think DeAndre Yedlin is just so predictable. You would know what he would do before he did it. And before he did it, you knew it was the wrong decision. So I think DeAndre Yedlin is really declining. Even though he's technically the captain, even though Messi's had the armband, but he was the captain. I think he needs to be dropped. Either Noah Allen has to step in or put somebody else there. Put Gressel in that right wing back spot. Last game, he didn't do great. but he didn't do bad. But tonight or last night, he did pretty bad. Aviles, he just wasn't good enough. I think in transition, it's just we were lacking in general, and that's why and this goes to everybody, especially in the defense. We get stuck in transition pretty easily, so we need to work on just getting back quicker, getting into position quicker, so we can just have a defense. We're always getting caught off position, or we're just caught lacking, really. That's just, to put it simple, we're just caught lacking. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, we were too slow for them. They had a lot of fast players, and our guys were just way too slow. In the midfield, I believe I mentioned this in the last video. I don't know what to expect from Busquets. I don't know if we should be expecting the absolute best performances out of him or just complete nonsense, because last night it was complete nonsense. I understand that he's in his 30s, he's retiring, he's, slower, he's sluggish, but this guy was or is probably the best center defensive midfielder or center midfielder of his time, of his generation. And the fact that he gives the ball away so many times is ridiculous. And it's because he is our anchor. Like, he is supposed to be dictating our midfield. Like, he's supposed to be the core, the rock of our midfield. It's just not there. That's just not what he is. At least that's not what he's showing. I'm really excited for when Redondo is going to be joining the club. I'm not expecting him to completely change our midfield or just completely change the way we play. I don't have insanely high expectations for Redondo, but I do think he's going to significantly improve the squad in general. Julian Gressel, he didn't really do anything. You could say that he did better last night than against RSL, but honestly, it was just kind of average. Diego Gomez did okay, in my opinion. I said last time out that we should be putting pressure on players like Diego Gomez. I understand that he's young, como tiene vergüenza, and you can tell. Especially when he does his press conferences, he speaks low, he's very shy. On the field, I kind of sensed that, but he took a couple shots, he made a couple passes. I think it was an above average performance. I honestly hope that Diego Gomez can continue to give consistently good performances throughout the season, because I think he's going to be an important part of the club for this year. We move to the attack. I'm going to kind of gloss over Messi, because Messi's Messi. He scored the equalizer. He always gives remarkable performances. He's just Messi. I feel like I can't rate him compared to everyone else, because I feel like he's always going to give great performances, or at least even him not being on his game is him giving a good performance compared to his competition, really. But I really want to talk more about Suarez. Suarez has been such an absolute disappointment since he's joined Inter Miami. I don't know what's going on. Like Busquets, like Messi, and like Alba, they're getting up there in age, and he's only playing for one season at Inter Miami. I know he's had a bunch of injuries, so he's being severely impacted by these factors, but it's just unacceptable what he's putting on the field. It's just absolutely unacceptable. I'd rather have him come in the last 10 minutes of the game than him starting for 60, 70 minutes. He was taken off a little bit earlier. I forget the minute exactly, but Campana and Borgelin were brought on. I think either Luis Suarez has to play for only 45 minutes, or he needs to come on in the 80th minute. Campana has to start, bring on Suarez in the 70th minute, 80th minute. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Luis Suarez. I think, obviously, having a solid striker for any club is very difficult to have. It's very rare to come by. It's just hard to have a really good number 9. We've had that with Pipita Higuain. He was on and off with his performances, but Luis Suarez is looking bad. I don't know. Let me know what you think about Luis Suarez. Do you think he just needs time at the club? Do you think his age is just catching up to him, and all the injuries and everything that he's pretty much been through his entire career just catching up to him now and causing him to not give everything that he's had on the field, or just not provide the proper performances that is needed to win at Inter Miami? I already talked about Robert a little bit earlier in the video, but he really wasn't on his game. And I know it's only day 2, it's only game 2 of the season, but if one day he's going to play phenomenal and then the next day he's just going to be off, then I don't know, it's kind of worrying. We have Orlando City coming up this Saturday, El Clásico for Florida. I would hope that these players will show up for that. But yeah, don't want to keep just kind of talking bad on Inter Miami. I know that it is still very early on in the season, and we still have a lot of football left to play. So this Saturday, March 2nd, we will be playing Orlando City in El Clásico. That game will happen at 4:30 p.m. at Chase Stadium. I almost said Drive Pink Stadium, but now it's called Chase Stadium. I'm gonna give my prediction for this game. Honestly, Orlando are a pretty solid side. They do have a CONCACAF Champions League game tomorrow, so they'll most likely rest up their players, so they'll be ready for us on Saturday. My gut is telling me that Inter Miami are gonna lose 2-1 against Orlando. I'm looking at their history. Out of 13 games they played against each other, Inter Miami have won 4, tied 4, and lost 5. So you know what? I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to say Inter Miami are going to win 2-1. Hopefully Tata sees what's going on with Suarez up top. Hopefully sees the other kind of issues that I guess the club has, and hopefully can fix it by the time this rivalry game happens. Much rather have Campana start than Suarez. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like, a comment, and hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. I'll see you guys this Saturday, and hopefully we'll play with another win, because then this would probably be our best start ever to an MLS season. We'll see what happens. I'll see you then.